Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome to this episode of the Note Closure Show. Hopefully, you're all doing well today. It's been a very busy week in a lot of cases, a lot of hectic stuff going on, deals, stuff like that. Banks, a lot of news taking place out there. And it's no surprise that obviously a lot of folks are watching the Democratic National Convention. That's great. That's taking place in Chicago. I wanted to talk a little bit about a shorter video that I did a little bit earlier today. Now, the news has been out for about a week about this Aurora, Colorado 99 unit apartment complex that's been taken over by Venezuelan gangs. That's right. Now, they say that they estimate there's been about 40,000 Venezuelans kind of descend upon the Denver, Colorado, Aurora area. Now, if you don't know where Aurora, Colorado is, Aurora is 9 miles east of Denver. Gives you a bit of an idea. And I wanted to go through a little bit on what we found as far as this apartment went, because there's kind of two sides of the story. All right. The owners haven't owned it that long, but there's been a lot of issues with this apartment complex. And I think you're going to see more of these issues taking place further across the country. If not, we're already seeing these in a lot of sanctuary cities and things like that are taking place with issues with crime, with theft, really a lot of, how should we say this, resources being put to a strain because people, cities, counties, governments don't have that much money in a lot of cases. They can't just keep writing a blank check based on it. And I don't care who you vote for. Okay? I don't care if you vote for Trump or you vote for Kamala. One thing we know, we need to take care of America first. We need to make sure we're taken care of here. And look, we're all illegal aliens. Unless you're American Indian, we're all an illegal alien of some sort, right? Came over in a boat, came over from somewhere. And I'm not against that. I'm not against legal immigration. I think it's a great thing. But when you look at the amount of people, like what Jane says, the amount of people have come across here, especially Manhattan has been one of the worst hit. It's literally clogging and choking us to death. And with what happened in Aurora, I foresee that happening in a lot of places across the country. So I thought, well, where's the cities that have the most? And let's go into it. But anyway, if you're watching here on my podcast episode, if you're looking at the YouTube video, you'll see this is a 99 unit apartment complex. It's not a bad looking apartment complex. This is a picture taken from it. They're on Nome Street in Aurora. 99 unit was purchased for $12.75 million, backed by a New York investor back in December of 2019. Okay, they financed it with about a $9 million loan from USB Bank or UBS Bank. The other $3.25 million was with private investor funds. That either the investor knew somebody and they brought it to get the syndication for it to take it down. Now that property has been an issue in Aurora, specifically after. Now I'm not saying that the investor is completely off the hook. Okay, there you go. You can kind of see the roof side of this. Here's a better picture. This is actually from the LoopNet listing from a few years ago. Okay, it's got a mixture of a couple studios, some 1 bedroom, some 2 bedrooms. But in the last year alone, the last 12 months, there were over 100 phone calls for gunfire, crime, break-ins, all sorts of negative stuff there in this one apartment complex. Now, here's the thing that we know from looking at the county records, and this is how I was able to pull how much the original mortgage was from UBS. I don't know what that balance is. It's obviously not worth much anymore because here's what's happening. The literally city of Aurora has fined the owners. They've slapped a lot of liens on the property the last few years for this property being, violating codes. All right. It's literally this property's trashed out. They're literally abating this apartment complex. And now some city council members say, oh, we're basically closing this apartment complex because it's a slum, because of rats, roaches, non-upkeep by the investor. Okay. And that, again, you'll see that we've talked about some of those things, like the Tides Group all across the country has been familiar with that. But this one, when you have such a huge amount of Venezuelans in an area, and I'll give you a great example. The city of Aurora, about a month ago, they had 4,000 cars show up and basically like be a flash mob around one parking lot. the city is also experiencing crime waves. There's jewelry stores being robbed by Venezuelan gangs. The TDAs, all right, are robbing people in daylight. Okay. There's just a mile down the road is almost $1 billion development. Okay. That is having its issues as well because there's so much crime taking place. Now, part of the city council of Aurora wants to say, oh, it's not, this apartment's being closed because it's a slumlord. That's what the mayor wants to say. Three of the council members, no, it's got to do something with Venezuela because the police are literally saying, yes, there's some issues. They're having a hard time. But when you have other police departments, like the Albuquerque Police Department, I found this online talking about, hey, there is notice that we are coming across proof that the Venezuelan gangs are taking place in Denver and Aurora and causing issues. And to give you a bit of an idea, yes, this apartment is being shut down. All the tenants were asked to leave. They had basically a week to get out on August 9th. The city's going to go after the landlord for deposits and rent checks and stuff like that. Well, if you have gangs coming and taking over a place and start technically holding the tenants at gunpoint to collect their own rent, not paying to the landlord, or when a place goes vacant, they break into it so more of their members can move in for free, that's not a good thing. All right? That's not a good thing at all, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen this happen in 2008 before, even here in San Antonio, just south of here. I went down looking at a 16-unit apartment complex that originally was two eightplexes. Well, one eightplex was okay. The other eightplex was vacant, but there was gangs in there selling marijuana, weed, drugs, literally on the corner. When I pull up, my buddy who's a realtor wouldn't get out of the damn car because he's so scared. When I came over and talked to one of the tenants, you get a feel like, yeah, they've busted into the laundry room. They've stolen the money. Anytime there's a vacant property, they kick the door in and they live in it for free. Okay. That's what you see happening. That's what they said was happening here in this apartment complex. You mean, and when the city won't evict them and the police department won't show up to evict crime because it's such a bad crime area, that's not a good thing. Why won't the police? Because here's what's going on. The Albuquerque Police Department literally told the Aurora, said, listen, this Venezuelan gang has a green light to shoot police officers. A green light to go ahead and murder you in the daylight. I wouldn't want to show up either if I knew I had a hit in my head. Would you? I mean, this is just the stupidest shit I hear, and we see a lot of this happening in different cities across the country, but this is just a bit of an insight. There's not only the $9 million loan that UBS or USB is out of, but the investor money, how much he put into it or how much he raised, that's gone. The 99 people here, well, probably not 99 people, probably, well, a big chunk of them are Venezuelan illegal aliens. They're out of a place to live. If you can't send a repairman out because he's afraid he's going to get robbed or shot or stabbed, that's a black hole. And this is not only going to just stay here. Where do you think it's going to go? It's going to expand. It's expanding into Denver, just a few miles away. Other apartments, other Class D apartments. Because let's face it, some people think that illegal aliens are like lesser than dirt. I don't think that. They're all human beings. We all have rights, but they're not stupid. There was a bit of a TikTok, a guy from Venezuela a few years back talking about, oh, I can live for free here. I can break into this. They'll give me money. Big uproar about that. America, it's funny to see that stuff because, like, yes, America is the greatest country out there, but we're not here to write a free check for everybody. And those that come across legally, that's great. You do the right things. Or those people that get amnesty or do their job, that's beautiful. Love those people. But when we have crime and gangs and rapists and all those folks coming across, even if it's a small fraction, it's still too small a fraction. We can't have a wide open border. And this is just a bit, the tip of the sword, the tip of the arrow of what I believe we're going to see specifically in the next 4 to 10 years, unless things change at the border and we get serious about deporting people that like this. I mean, yes, if you arrest somebody, they never claim gang affiliation. I get it. But you know what? If you're coming to this country illegally and you're committing crimes and stealing and robbing and stuff like that, you got to go. You can't stay here. You're not contributing anything to society except taking, and that's not the way it works. So let's go through the 30 cities with the most amount of illegal aliens out there that are guaranteed are seeing the most amount of issues when it comes to things like that, or will continue to see increased issues. Now, I pulled up the city sanctuary map, and there's some states that are just pure sanctuary states versus sanctuary cities, okay? I laugh because here in Texas, we've got a huge amount of people coming across the border and they're trying to stop it and shipping people out because we can't control it here. We don't have any, but the whole state of California, Oregon, Washington, those states are just whole states, sanctuary cities. North Dakota, Utah, Colorado is a sanctuary state. Okay. Illinois, a sanctuary state. Wisconsin, New York, most of the New England area, sanctuary states. And you wonder why you have problems. And of course, in these bigger cities, you see like New Mexico, the counties of New Mexico, and Iowa has got summers. No, that's well, what is that? What's above? South Dakota, Minnesota, Michigan. Look at that. I mean, Maryland, Louisiana, that's New Orleans. The red dots that you see on the map that I'm sharing on the podcast, those are cities. The squares are counties. The green dots are for the whole states. So just gives you a bit of an idea. So as we roll into this, let's go through here are the 30 cities with the most amount of aliens. As of 2022 is the FAIR report we pulled this from. There's an article on the FAIR report. Just Google 30 cities with the most amount of illegal aliens, and it'll tell you. Number 30, Lincoln City, Oregon, has just 8,600 people that are considered to be illegal aliens there. Not small. It takes a lot to go from the borders up to Oregon. Okay, not so bad. But we all know that Seattle's Oregon's had its issues. Why? Tough to evict. You have a lot of people, a lot of investors pulling out of there because it's impossible to evict. They've also, parts of Oregon have made it almost impossible to arrest somebody unless they commit a serious crime. Oh, steal $800. Don't worry about it. We'll let you slip. Okay. Scranton, Pennsylvania, 8,800 people considered illegal aliens. Okay. Columbus, Ohio, the Buckeye, just under 12,000 people are illegal aliens in Columbus. That should make you think about something there if you're going to be going to school. Colorado Springs, just under 13,000. That's Colorado. Okay. 26, Greensboro, North Carolina, 17.4 thousand illegal aliens there. Reno, Nevada, the biggest little city in the country, 17,500 illegal aliens there. Okay. Loudoun County, VA, that's like where Leesburg, Virginia is at, 26,521 illegals there. Okay. 23, Tucson, Arizona, 32,607. Okay. Those are the first 7. Okay. Now, listen, like I said, guys, I don't care who you're voting for. What you have to realize is if you aren't watching now, it's great to help people, but you've got to take care of your constituents, the people that are living in these cities, these states that are contributing. If you give away everything, you'll have nothing left to give and people will leave. And that's what's happening. Tax dollars are leaving, investors are leaving because they're not willing to put up with this stuff if they can't take care of themselves. We still live in the greatest country ever. Capitalism is great. Okay. But if you piss off and try to be everything to everybody else besides who's there domestically, guess what? You're going to be there by yourself and it's going to be a lot worse. Okay. Fairfax, Virginia, 88,000. Yes, the number jumps quite a bit there to 22. 88,861. 21 is Orlando with 90,000 people. Not really surprised there when every time we get an Uber or something like that, most of them don't speak English. They're not from the United States. They're from a Latin American country for the most part. Great people. Some of them are illegally, others aren't. Okay. 20, my hometown. Here we go. Not really, what I call home, Austin, Texas. 100,000 people here in a city of about 2 million, roughly around the area here. Now, I have this asterisk is basically there's over 450,000 people coming through the border, have tried to come through the border down in South Texas that Austin and Governor Abbott have moved out. Obviously, there was that big border war between the federal government, Biden and Abbott a few weeks ago. Hopefully, we've got that fixed, but it's still, they're overwhelmed down at the border. But Austin is getting about 100,000 illegals. Charlotte, 100,000 as well. Denver, Colorado, 130,000 illegal aliens in Denver. No wonder Aurora is doing such a rough thing. Hey, move to Denver. Get a Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Okay. 17, San Jose, California, just south of San Francisco. No surprise, 140,000 people there. Now, San Jose is not that big a city. It's, it's okay, but it's not as big as San Francisco. But it's got a lot of its own issues. Seattle, Washington. Oh, there we go. Oregon's little brother there, 140,000 in the sanctuary city of Seattle, in a sanctuary state of Washington State. Okay. 15, city of brotherly love, might want to take back a little bit of that love. Philadelphia, PA, 160,000, and they're already overrun. Most of these cities, resources and organizations that help out are being overrun and do not have the resources or the hotels or all the money it takes to go along the way. And so what's happening? These people are committing crimes. So if you take a look at these 14 cities from 30 to 15, you add those numbers together, that's over 1 million illegal aliens, 1.085 million illegal aliens in these cities. Some of them are big, some of them are small, okay? But the top 14 cities are going to take the cake on that. Now, moving on here, I threw this up here just so you can see. Las Vegas came in at number 14 with 180,000. San Diego at 188,847. I believe we want to bet some of those are coming down from Denver, because at one point Denver's mayor was busing them to San Diego. Okay. Phoenix, Arizona, 210,000. No surprise there. Atlanta, Georgia, 211,491. Boston, Massachusetts, 220,000. All right. Probably some of those busing from this Arizona, Florida, and Texas over to Martha's Vineyard, right? Riverside, California, 230,000. San Francisco, the Bay Area, which should be the poster child of what not to do for homeless, illegals, the crime, the drugs. San Francisco is just a shithole now, unfortunately, at just under 250,000, 240,000 illegal aliens there. Chicago, man, sweet home Chicago, no more. 400,000 expected illegal aliens in Chicago, in the Windy City. Look at the Miracle Mile, Michigan Avenue. Places closed because of crime, drugs, things like that. Houston, Texas, man, 413,316. Houston's a big area. And there are specific areas outside of Houston, housing developments that are basically all illegals right now. It's a sad, sad thing. Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. Don't get a rental car. Don't park your car because it's going to get stolen if it's in D.C. 425,000 illegal aliens in the nation's capital. I have friends have gone there. Their car's been stolen. They live literally within viewing distance of the White House. Miami, Florida. Viva la Miami. No more, no mas. 627,000 basically illegal aliens in Miami. LA, hey, Riverside's big brother. San Diego's bigger brother. 925,000 illegal aliens. They say that at least probably 10% of LA and LA County is illegal aliens coming across the border. Okay. New York City, the Big Apple, 1.1 million illegal aliens in New York City. That's why New York is such a crap hole now. Now, there are nicer areas of there, but like Manhattan is overrun. I have friends that have lived in New York City for years, talk about it greatly, but they don't go outside, or they've gotten the heck out of Dodge till something is different. Mayor Eric Adams, obviously, hey, we're a sanctuary city. He regrets that now because he's pleading with the federal government to help out in places like that. Chicago, I mean, these are all cities struggling, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm a real estate investor. I like a lot of these cities. Okay. I like Las Vegas. I like Phoenix. I like Atlanta. Okay. I don't like Chicago. I don't like buying California, but Texas, hey, Houston, Dallas, great. But you've got to be careful. There's crime rampant. I was just talking to a friend the other day, just literally before I record this episode. She lives in Houston, and she lives in a great neighborhood. Car was broken into 3 times in the last 30 days. Because if you don't have the resources to help people, people are going to do things they need to do to get by. I mean, theft, robbery, and other issues. Let's not even talk about all the other vicious crimes. There was a news alert that came out today here in Austin, Texas, about a young teenage girl waiting for the school bus, and somebody tried to grab her. The local grocery store, women been talking about vans falling, people falling through the stores. Don't know if it's human trafficking. But that's why we also see human trafficking on ice, because that's the one way that they're paying for themselves to live here. If you take this 14 cities, that's 5.8 million illegals in these 14 cities and 6.9 million in the top 30. That's the population of more than half of our states. We've literally have a 51st state of illegal aliens here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. We have to do something. And If you listen to my podcast, the Note Closure Show, you know we talk about a lot about it. We like working with distressed borrowers, we like working with helping. But if a distressed borrower is losing their house or losing their apartment because of squatters or gangs or people moving in that they can't evict because the city won't help them or the police department will go there, or they've been defunded, they don't have the manpower to help out because of liberal policies, it's time to get the heck up out of Dodge and go somewhere else. Now, I love living in Texas. It's a Lone Star state. We have our own issues and things. Austin's a great city, but our liberal policies here in Austin are also causing a lot of people, hey, don't California my Texas, okay? Or people looking to get out of Austin, go somewhere else because these policies don't make sense. And if you're worried more about people that aren't legally allowed to be here than your own people here, it says something about you, and you got to do something. I'm all for helping people, helping the homeless and stuff like that. We've got some great programs, great organizations like, the Loaves and Fishes organization, the Community Impact, Community First program outside of town that'll hold 1,400 homeless people. Those are all great organizations and stuff like that, but it's not enough. We have to curb the flow of illegals coming in across this border. It's unless you're using it to get you votes, to get somebody to pay, to get you elected, it doesn't make sense. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face, and we have to stop. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Shoot me an email at scott@weclosenotes.com. I would love to hear from you about what you think about this. I know it's not my usual topic of real estate, investing in notes or distressed assets, stuff like that, but we are seeing distress all across the country. And when you start looking at the amount of distressed car loans, notes, credit cards that Americans are hurting, and this is only going to hurt them more. So hopefully you found this valuable. As always, like I said, feel free to leave a comment, share, like, subscribe to the channel. Love to help you. If you've got a topic you'd like to see me covered, feel free to reach out to me. talkwithscottcarson.com. That'll allow you to book a meeting on my calendar, and love to help you take your business and note deals in real estate to the next level. Go out, take some action, everybody, and we'll see you at the top.